Welcome to our series on measurements. We'll begin with how do we convert units? This lesson will walk you through basic metric system, linear dimensions, how do we convert them? How do we use the time units, area, volume, speed, temperature, and based on our learnings, we'll have some thinking questions and extra practice questions. You can further explore the playlist with many examples. I'm Anil Kumar. Welcome to my YouTube channel and the website Global Math Institute. We provide you simple solutions to all math concept questions. Feel free to ask your doubts, we'll provide you solutions. Now, let's begin with how do we convert units? We'll begin with the metric system. Take just a couple of examples. Let's say if we have meters right there, then you see that there are units which are bigger than meters and which are smaller than meters. For example, if I say 1 kilometer is actually equal to 1000 meters. So the metric scale makes it simple. As you move each step, you multiply by 10, right? So 10, 10, 10 gives you 1000. Similarly, I could say 1 meter is equal to moving from meter to centimeter, 10 times 10 is 100 centimeter. However, if you go in the reverse way, that is to say that if you have 250 decimeters and you want to go from here to meters, in that case you have to divide by 10, and so that'll be 25 meters. So that's how you do the conversion. So this linear scale, metric scale, can be used for meters, uh, kilograms, grams, as mentioned here. So, for example, if I have something called 250 grams, so 250 grams will be equal to how many kilograms? In that case, we have to divide by 1000, 10, 10, 10, right? So it equals to 250 over 1000 kilogram. Multiplication and division with decimal numbers is very easy, especially when you are dividing and multiplying by tens, hundreds, thousands. Just move in the decimal place, you get 0.25 kilograms. Correct. So let's move on and extend this concept to the linear dimensions, where the problem now here for you is find the length of fence in yards required for rectangular field 300 meter by 120 meters. So we have a field here which is sketching the diagram for better understanding. 300 meters by 120 meters. Rectangular field means opposite sides are equal. And definitely the perimeter is sum of all these sides. So 2 times we'll add length and width, right? So we'll add 300 and 120. So we get 2 times 420, which is equal to 840 meters. Now we need to convert this unit of length to yards. And we have given you the conversion factors right there. So have a good look at it. 1 meter is 1.0936 yards. It's a linear unit. So we'll convert this. So 840 meters will be equal to, we'll multiply by this conversion factor 1.0936. So 840 into 1.0936 and we get yards. Makes sense? Using calculator, we can find this answer. So 840 into 1.0936 and that gives us 918.6 yards. So sometimes the fence is available in yards, so you have to do your calculations and get the right length. Okay, great. So I hope you have understood this. How do we use conversion of units in word problems? Let's move forward. And now we are getting into area. Now, area is length into width for a rectangle. Here, the question is how many centimeter squares are in 1 meter square? So, 1 meter square equals to how many centimeters square? That is what you need to figure out. You can always pause this video and then write down the answer. Well, let's illustrate. Let's say this is a square whose dimensions are 1 meter each. We want centimeters. So what is 1 meter equals to? Well, 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter, right? So we could write this as 100 times 100, correct? Centimeter square. And that gives you 10,000, four zeros. Do you see that? Seems to be simple, but many students get this wrong. Perfect. And here is a very easy way of looking at it and always getting it right. Correct? So 1 meter square, you could also think like this: 1 meter times 1 meter, right? 1 meter is 100 centimeters. So 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters, correct? And that gives you four zeros. Centimeter times centimeter becomes centimeter square. That's another way of doing it. Now see, I've shown you a simple method of how do we break down the units and then use each conversion factor, right? That method can also be used. Now let's get it to volume. Here is a very similar question for you. Now we want how many centimeter cubes are in 1 meter cube, right? So 1 meter cube is equal to how many centimeter cube? This is what you have to write. Well, in case you want to learn directly from me, feel free to send an email on globalmathinstitute@gmail.com. Our students, are doing extremely well. You can master and be right there on top of your class. Well, use the method which I told you, any one of them. So you can say 1 meter cube means 1 meter times 1 meter times 1 meter, which is 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters times 100 centimeters, correct? So how many zeros? 2, 4, 6 zeros, right? Centimeter cube. So this is 1 million. Do you see that? Did you realize that is how it is going to turn out to be? Very interesting, correct? So, perfect. Let's move on and take up application questions. So, when it comes to volume, talking about capacity, right? So, here's a very interesting question. Determine the gallons of water required to fill the pool 8 meter by 6 meter by 4 meters. How do we convert meter cube into gallons? That is what we are going to see now. So, for that, I've given you two conversion factors. One is 1 gallon is 3.785 liters, and 1 liter is 1000 cc. Cc means centimeter cube. Okay. Use this information to write down the answer. And that is how I'm going to do it. We need to find how many gallons of water is there. So the volume is multiply them all. So 8 meters times 6 meters times 4 meters, correct. And when you do that, you get what? You can use the calculator, right? So 8 times 6 times 4 gives you a big number, 192 meter cube. Now, what we know here is that meter cube should be converted to centimeter cube, right? And then to liters. That is what we need to do, right? So, 1 meter cube is 1 million centimeter cube, right? So we could write this as equal to 192 meter cube. And we know 1 meter cube is, let me write down here, 1 meter cube is 1 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 centimeter cube. You see that? But now we also know that once we do that, we can cancel meter cube, meter cube. Do you see that? Now 1 centimeter cube is 1 liter is 1 centimeter cube, right? So that means 1 liter. We'll have to r- cancel this centimeter cube, right? So we'll write down here 1000 centimeter cube is 1 liter. So we got 1 liter, centimeter cube can be cancelled. But we know that 1 gallon is 3.785 liters. So we can write 1 gallon, right, equals to 3.785 liters. Do you see that calculation? So as we move further, the conversion of units also becomes slightly tricky. Do you understand this part? So, liters and liters will cancel and we'll get gallons. So, let's convert this, correct? Well, some easy calculations, 1000 we can cancel. Now, let's multiply the terms and get the answer. So, once I do that, I get 192, right? So, I'm multiplying 192 and I'm going to divide. I can multiply this with 1000 also, right? Times 1000. And then we are going to divide this by 3.785. 3.785 to give us gallons, right? And that gives you a very big number also, and that is 50,726 point, let's say 6 gallons. You see that? So that is how we can convert meter cubes into gallons. Extremely important question, correct? So I hope you have understood the concept. Perfect. Let's move on into more difficult questions, which is now very common practice to convert miles per hour to kilometers per hour, especially if you're traveling from Canada to US, US to Canada. You have to keep doing it, right? So here, let's see how do we convert the speed. We are given 65 miles per hour. We want kilometers per hour, right? But we know what 1 mile is, right? 1 mile is equal to, in kilometers, 1.609. So we could write this as 1 mile is equal to 1.609 kilometers. And now we can multiply and get our answer, right? Because miles and miles cancel and we get kilometers per hour. So we have 65 times 1.609 and that gives us 104.58. Let me round it to 6, right? Kilometers per hour. Make sense? So that is a simple way to convert, especially when you are given a formula, right? Now we'll do the reverse, converting from meters per second to kilometers per hour. You can always pause the video, answer this question, and then look into my suggestions. I hope you are enjoying this journey of how do we convert units. That is essential math skill. Correct. So we are now at 5 meters per second. We want kilometers, right? on the top. So 1 kilometer is equal to 1,000 meters, right? Perfect. How about hours and seconds? Well, 1 hour, we want here 1 hour, and 60 minutes into 60, right, seconds. So that is the conversion factor. So now we can use calculator, figure this out, right? You see, meters and meters cancel, second and second cancel. You're left with kilometers per hour. Perfect. 60 into 60 into 5 divided by 1000. So 60 into 60 into 5 divided by 1000. Some calculations are simpler than others. You can may or may not use calculator, correct? So what do we get here is 18 kilometers per hour, correct? So that is the normal walking speed of, oh, so 18 kilometers per hour. Perfect. So great. So let's move on and get to the next question, which is relating temperatures. Now you've seen two units for temperatures, Celsius and Fahrenheit. How do we convert them? So we have got two different formulas. They are actually a rearranged form of the same thing. Celsius C equals to 5 over 9 F minus 32. That's the conversion factor. And for Fahrenheit, if you rearrange, you get 9 over 5C plus 32. So let's take up an example. If I say that the temperature in Fahrenheit is around, let's say, 70, in that case, how much will that be in Celsius? Well, in that case, Celsius will be 5 over 9, 70 minus 32. Let's use the calculator. So we have 70 minus 32, and we're multiplying by 5, dividing by 9, and we get approximately 21.1, right? So 70 degrees Fahrenheit is equal to 21.1 degrees Celsius. You see that? That is the conversion factor, right? So and many times we put that as our room temperature. Correct. Let's do another conversion, and this time we'll convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Okay. So let's say that the temperature is around 35 degrees Celsius. Then in Fahrenheit, how much will that be? Let's do the calculation. For Fahrenheit, it is going to be 9 by 5 times 35 plus 32. Correct. Of course, you can say 9 times 5 goes 7. So sometimes, as I said, the calculations could be easier, where you could do even without calculator, right? 63 plus 32, and that gives you 95. Correct. So we have converted 35 degrees Celsius is equal to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is the conversion factor. So you learned this. Let's move on to application question. The application question here is a tire of a moving bicycle has radius of 24 inches. If the tire is making 2 rotations per second, find the bicycle speed in miles per hour. We are given the conversion factors. 1 mile is 5280 feet, 63,360 inches, 1760 yards, and 1.609 kilometers. I will treat this as a test question for you. Perfect. So we'll get back to the solution of this in the next video. You can check the playlist for many other examples. I hope with this you have learned how do we convert units. So we have taken many cases, thinking questions. The last one is a very difficult question at this stage. However, I walked you through the basic metric system, imperial system, and working out with gallons and miles is not easy to begin with. But to practice, you can follow me and check this playlist for more examples. I hope that helps. Feel free to write your comment, share your views. If you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your time and all the best.